Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Monday Memo. And on today's episode I'm going to summarise some key takeaways from a conference I was speaking at. It was the Finance 4.0 Digitisation and Transformation Summit that was held in Amsterdam in Holland. And there I got the opportunity to speak to a number of different speakers across Europe and Asia, mingle and get a better sense from the attendees of what was mattering most to them. Now overall I felt that the summit focused an awful lot on automation, RPA in particular, robotic process automation, and it was actually quite interesting to see somehow far the artificial intelligence tools had actually come. So doing away with things like OCR, optical character recognition. But with the RPA, and there was also a lot of focus on outsourcing as well, I couldn't help but feel a lot of what was being suggested is in finance, leaders and organizations are still trying to race to the bottom line. They still look at finance as a cost play, because there was very little talk around, okay, you've taken the robot out of the human type of work, so what's happening with all of that sort of time that you're freeing up for the human side of things? And there was very little answers in that way, so when companies are talking about RPA at the moment and automation, it doesn't really feel from a finance perspective that we're getting much in the way of return on investment. And indeed, we've got a guest mentor coming on into the show in the next couple of weeks. It says there's very few companies getting a return on RPA. They tend to be very strong and know what they're about in the first place. And they are tending to use most of that free time that the robotics is actually freeing up in their organizations to go and create and capture value elsewhere. Now that said, with the promise of automation and so on, it was a very interesting example of how quickly you can close month-end periods, and that shows great promise. So I do feel there's really good opportunity there. But the bigger opportunity that I think finance leaders and finance teams are going to struggle with, as we take the robot out of the human, we're going to be left with the whole psychological side, and that it's something we don't typically cover in our training. I feel like there's an assumption that we pick it up as part of these soft skills, expected to learn these things on the job. But if we leave that type of thing to chance and not share what's working and what's not working in that space, then again, I don't think we're going to see decent returns from all these digitization or technological developments. And in fairness, there was a couple of very good speakers who talked about bringing in neurodiversity into their organizations, better appreciation of mental health, making an impact that way for their staff, and also the focus on strengths as well, to find out what people enjoy doing, what they're passionate about, and then tailoring roles around them. So there is a bit of work to do in that space, but there are also chinks of light, and hopefully I'll get to bring some of those who are sort of leading the way on the psychological element onto the show, and also some of the cool technological developments as well. But overall, when it comes to this digitization of finance and these technologies, I feel the futurist Roy Amara sums it up best when he says we probably tend to overestimate the impact of these things in the short run and underestimate the long run effects. And again, I think that's where we need to be focused, not just on the robotic element, but also on the human element that gets left behind if we take the robot out of the human. So I actually look forward to the agenda around digitization and finance transformation developing over the coming years, and really hope you stay with us on this journey. So hope you enjoyed the show today. If you did, please remember to let your friends and colleagues know about it. They can subscribe at all the major platforms, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud and YouTube, and really appreciate you investing your time with us today. So until next time, take care of yourselves and let's keep on building our strength in the numbers.